Hello and welcome to my review on Transformers Age of the Prime Star Convoy. And yes, I'm calling it Star Convoy because that's who he is. He is not Star Optimus Prime. That's just dumb. Anyway, moving along here. I haven't posted in a while. Life happens. But we are going to come back and hopefully come back strong. I'm going to be doing things slightly differently from how I have been doing things, kind of the formula of how I do, work my videos around. As you notice already, I have started in robot mode. So my idea here is whatever it's packaged in, that's how we're starting. And Star Convoy here, he was packaged in robot mode, so that's what we're going to start with. Now, obviously, here he is, but first, I'll take a quick look at the little box here, and yes, it is very beautiful. All the artwork, you got the blast effects blast effecting, you have all the other primes that have been released so far. Oh, there's a lot of them. We have whatever this thing is. I don't know if this was part of the manga that was originally from, or if this is something newly added because it was never in the cartoon. And, of course, we got the base mode of Star Convoy. We have the beautiful truck, one of my favorite designs, Age of the Primes. I love this gold here in this line. It's so classic. All right, and no, it's not Optimus Prime. It's Convoy. Anyway, on the side of the other box, we got some more beautiful line artwork. It's gorgeous. I love it. On the other side of this box, we have the Age of the Prime stuff. And look, there he is. But weird, why does he have a Power of the Prime's chest? Like, that's a little weird. Anyway, and then at the top of the box, which I'm running out of space here, but we'll just lift her up. We got all the other primes that are going to be released, so nothing's going to be a complete surprise. More Transformer stuff on the bottom of the box, word stuff, and boring crap. And that's pretty much it in all for this packaging. Pretty cool. I just love the design of the new Age of the Primes boxes. Very classy and beautiful indeed. Now, this guy comes with a lot of stuff. Again, like I said, he was packed in robot mode, but not everything was packed on him. First of all, these little antlers, or little fins, stimajiggies, those are packed separate. A little bit of a pain to get on? Not really. They're just on like a little friction fit thing to go on. Then these shoulder bits are also other parts. They can come off, be wielded in his hands, whatever, but they're not installed on here. But why would you take them off the shoulder anyway? Because that's where they go. And then also coming on the shoulder here, I just wanted to say how beautifully clean this tampograph is. It is just crisp and vibrant and absolutely breathtaking. Like, oh, it's just clean. All the paint apps on this thing are super clean. One thing I might note that is not super clean, I tried to clean it up a little bit, then half gave up, but these nub marks are absolutely horrendous. You can see where the plastic was gated, and it's super, super white. One of these right here, I tried to kind of get a little bit lighter and shave it down. The problem is there's nothing left there, so if you want to get that really clean looking, the only way to do that would be to really paint over it, or have to gouge the plastic to get that not stressed out. So that is probably my biggest complaint with this thing, is those nubs on those legs are kind of just ugly. And that is one thing I really feel should have been done a lot better. Anyway, next, as we keep talking about accessories, we get this little blaster slash gun cannon thing. It's pretty cool. Lots of different things you can do with this, as we'll show off later. We get a beautiful blue blast effect. It is gorgeous. And then we get our traditional Siege Jetfire and Siege Mega Supreme, right? That's where this first came from. I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they're actually not just a normal, like, clear yellow and orange. They have a slight shine to them, and I do kind of dig it. It looks good. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, but there is a slight gold shimmer to it, and it's really nice in hand. It doesn't look as good on camera as it does in hand. It's just gorgeous. Next, coming up here, we have his giant rifle cannon majig. It is a beautiful design, kind of very G1 Prime-esque, but more beefy and it looks amazing. I feel like this painted silver and those little vent areas could be cool, but I just don't like customizing Transformers, and I don't know why. I'm just not comfortable with it. But you get that. And then another little thing, you get this sword hilt, which is quite beautiful. It is a little bit hollow. That's kind of unfortunate, and it's also on both sides. Kind of unfortunate. Of course, you can always do whatever you want, 3D print parts or whatever, some putty, or put stuff in there to get the parts unhollowed. You can always do that if you wish, but again, that's kind of ugly. But flipping it straight forward, hey, doesn't that look familiar? Yeah, it's pretty clever. It's the Matrix of Leadership kind of looky thingy. And of course, we got the extra blast effects that don't fit on just the one. And we have ourselves a little mini hot rod. If you know, you know. It's a beautiful little mini hot rod. And look at that. Look at that little head. Oh, it's a spoiler. That's what his head looks like. Anyway, and there's also a big spoiler right here. 2 big gouges here. I don't know why they're there. It is kind of ugly. It's probably to save on money, but that is also another complaint. As a lot of the complaints are with this thing is cut corners. Just cheapo things. If this thing was just a little more solid, this would be like one of the best Transformers of all time. Anyway, now we get this guy, what is it, like MP13? It reminds me of a masterpiece. MT13. That's what it was. Okay, if you know what MP13 is, I cannot remember off the top of my head. I feel like it's Soundwave. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, you get this little guy, little trailer guy dude. He can roll. More about him later. And then, of course, why not? We get a bullet in clear blue plastic. Look how beautiful it is. And this can be slotted right in here. Nice little click. And also quite easy to take out as well. Pretty cool. Not a gimmick you ever really see. Speaking of gimmicks, this thing's got a lot of them, which is kind of incredible for a figure nowadays. There's never gimmicks, are there? But this guy is loaded with them. Anyway, this guy, I'm going to put him back because he is ginormous and does not fit in the frame well. He's gorgeous. Definitely, obviously, late Japanese G1, so you have that kind of Gundam anime aesthetic, especially with the dynamic posing you can get with him. Just in a standing pose, he looks amazing. How he catches light, the shadows, the proportions, even though they're not a chunk, and the beef of this guy and just how big he is, he still looks dynamic in all the poses. He doesn't have that much articulation, but he looks absolutely dynamic. Speaking of dynamics, look at these beefy legs. Oh, they're so big. Anyway, coming around here, this is a really weird kind of color. It's like yellowish gold. I don't know if it's gold. I don't know if it's yellow. It's that color. Coming back to here at the bottom here, we got giant feet, which make this thing very stable. He ain't going anywhere. It's solid. That's what I love. Okay, and coming down to the hands here, they can open up, and I don't know why it's kind of like this. It looks weird. I know why, but it looks weird having this little part inside of the hand. I'm not a big fan of it, but it does still do the opening thing. It looks alright. On this side here, we just have more very clean, might I add, tampagraphs in a silvery blue. Got the Autobot logo kind of half hidden. And on the back, very, very clean. A lot of screw holes, but as is with a lot of giant figures. And spinning back to the front, that is him. Coming back up to the head here. It can look up and down. It does have light piping. It's not the greatest. It's not the worst. It's kind of okay, but again, it's not great because all there is for light piping is just like 2 sections up here, and it's kind of lackluster. Definitely not the best. And you kind of got that little V fin there for more of that Gundam anime aesthetic. Can look down quite far. Don't need them to look down that far. That's more for transformation, but still, for being that big, you're going to want them to look down. A lot of people have been saying, oh, he can't look up. Oh, that's such a big deal. Literally, he can look up. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you do kind of have to half on transform him, and you're not really supposed to. But if you push it just a little bit further, you can get him to look up. And honestly, it doesn't look that unnatural. Especially from here. Like, that doesn't look bad. He's looking up. He can do it. But yeah, that's not really what it's supposed to do, but it's not having to be forced all that much. And it's not too bad. And then, of course, we also have this accessory, which is also packed separately and it's just thrown in there. I just keep it there and then forget about it. Sometimes I'll put it in like the little matrix hilt thing and it kind of looks like it's glowing or being activated, but it's kind of a useless accessory in my book. And of course, if you want to, we can transform Hot Rod here. Now's a good time as any. All you got to do is just take out his arms here, bring down the chest, rotate around here, bring out these little legs, flip up the feetos, and there we go. We have a really inaccurate, weird-looking Hot Rod, but that's just him. And he looks amazing. Again, very clean tampografts and paint job, like no paint spills. That is amazing. Okay, and then coming back, it's got more hollowness, but that's more for the transformation. Again, very nice little neat guy here. He's got little ball jointed shoulders. They can wiggle waggle. He doesn't really do too much. Again, ball joint here. You're not going to get most dynamic poses out of him, especially considering his head doesn't really move. But at this scale, that's kind of acceptable. You can go in and out. It's got a really good knee bend, obviously, from the transformation. You can kick back quite far, and you can kind of get him in a relatively dynamic pose, but again, it's just a little guy. And all he's really supposed to do, he's just going to sit up there, isn't he? He's going to chill, bathe in the warm sun, and get his rod nice and hot. Anyway, coming back up here, let's close this back up. Let's start looking at how his accessories integrate. Now, of course, we have blast effects. They can be put anywhere. I'll just show off a few notable points. We got some bluish little guys here. They're just the 3mm, and there's one here. There's like 5 or 6, 7 of them on both sides of the legs, and then we got like 2 on each side on the side skirts, and then there's a few other ones wherever else. And of course, we can obviously put these anywhere on the cannons here, and obviously any of them can go on there. You can get all of them to fit, or you can get 2 of them to fit, but it's got to be a combination of the small ones, otherwise they're just too close together. Again, this guy is absolutely massive, so it's kind of hard to get into frame easily, but he fits barely. With this gun, it can just be plugged in. He's got a tab right here. It just snaps in and holds it just fine. Like, that ain't going anywhere. It's not loose. And we can get him pointing it, looking down, and he's going to blow you up. Hell yeah, that's absolutely sick. We got opening hand, and yeah, there we go. That's beautiful. I love that. And of course, we can put any blast effect in here, including the giant blue one. This can just go in here, and boom, it's very, very cool, very pretty. Or you can put, again, any combination of blast effects. I think we all know how these work by now. They've only been out for so many years at this point. Anyway, articulation with these arms here, quite chonky. And oh my gosh, another thing I want to add here, these ratchets are gorgeous. They are the most beautiful sounding ratchets I've ever heard. Just take a listen. And they're everywhere. Again, feels very premium, other than those nub marks in some of the cut corners. But other than that, I don't really have any complaints with this figure at all. It's perfect. It's amazing. For articulation, obviously, full 360 right here. We can go out about yay far. And if we want to get just a bit further, we can untab that transformation joint. And we can almost get that RX-78 last shooting pose. And if you take off that gun, you probably could get there. Alright, let's snap that back into place. Now coming at the arm here, we can bend forward and, he broke his arm. Obviously for transformation. And we also have a wrist swivel. And then coming here at the waist, we have a ratcheted waist swivel. Ratcheted waist swivel. Never thought I'd hear it. Anyway, look into the legs here. They can kick up, about that far, not too far. And then go kick back about the same, if not slightly further. Again, beautiful ratchets. It's pretty much just 90 degrees all the way out. The side skirts can move up, and they can just get out of the way. So universal ratchet joint feels absolutely great. And then we have a swivel here. This is honestly pretty much the only things that are not ratcheted on this thing, which is kind of incredible. At the knee, which feels also great, you can get about just shy of 90. But again, this thing looking as dynamic as it does, excuse me, it's really not the end of the world. And then we have a beautiful, beautiful pivot at this toe. And might I add some gorgeous detailing that's just begging to be painted. But again, I don't like painting Transformers. Maybe if I bought 2 of them, I might, and customize one. And at the little toe, we can angle it down if you need, maybe for some aerial poses, although I don't know what kind of stand base would hold this kind of weight. Anyway, that's pretty much it for articulation. Now looking at some more accessories, we have the little Matrix / sword hilt. It just looks like the Matrix leadership, but a little bit extruded. The instructions say to take Skylinx's or whoever else had this blast effect and put it in there, and then has it got a fire sword. I think this blue one looks way better and just makes way more sense, considering it's kind of a Matrix looking thing, and that just looks amazing. Like, just kind of going down and get a beautiful pose out of this. Like, it's just so easy to get it in a nice looking pose. That's the difference between posability and dynamics. This guy's not very posable, but he looks good with the minimal amount of joints. Sometimes you have a guy that has a bunch of articulation, but just doesn't look very good. Because proportions and looks also matter when it comes to making poses actually work, if you did not know. And we also have this little gun, which can also tab into here if you so like. I didn't get it in right, but again, you can do that. It doesn't look great. It kind of looks weird. The blue is kind of off, but you can do it if you want. And kind of cool, you can obviously take these off. They're 5mm, so you know what that means. We're going to plug them into the hands. We can go both hands if we would like, and we can kind of do like a dual wielding pistol kind of look. And that looks pretty cool. They can also move up, so I guess you can be shooting with his arms down if his arms get tired of being at a 90-degree bend. But I don't think they will be tired with these beautiful ratchet joints that are somewhat exposed, which is pretty cool because I like seeing how ratchet joints work. Anyway, just bringing these back up. Maybe we do that on the other side as well. What other accessories have we not looked at? I think that's pretty much it. Except we can combine them, because everything, of course, can combine when you have this much stuff. It's kind of lackluster. Basically, you just take this, you plug this into here, which is a little tight, and then you put this onto here, and he can hold it, and it looks really stupid. But you can do it. It's a thing you can do, and why not do it if you can? Also, he can dual wield his rifle quite easily. So that is always a huge plus. Now, taking a look at this little guy back down here. He's kind of got his own little base mode. So what you can do here is you can untab that. Now this is kind of a pain to get out the first time. These tabs are in there quite well. I just probably pry it open or just try and get it open. This is a little bit of a pain. But now you have a little turret. And then this can plug onto here. And if we want to, we can also plug on the other cannon as well. Just snap that off, flip it up, and boom, we have a little turret that can roll back and forth. And there we go. And if we want to, we can get our little hot rod on here. And it's a little bit tricky. You gotta get these legs just configured correctly. But basically, the top of this leg has to go in that little 90-degree bend there, and then this peg goes behind it. And once you get good at it, it's pretty easy. But again, the first time might be a little tricky. And then we can just have his arms up there, and he can be wielding that little battle station with Star Convoy. That's pretty cool and pretty nifty in my book. Also, none other thing here is we can do storage, because why not? You can literally store every single one of his accessories in those legs, because they open up just like so. And there's 2 tabs there, 2 tabs here, and you can just throw it in there, and that popped off, but you just gotta be careful not to pop that off because it comes off rather easy. Just plug it in there, close it up, and you are done. Also, before you open the leg, this is why this popped off. You have to undo this, otherwise it just gets in the way. That was more my fault. But yeah, you gotta undo this because otherwise it will just come right off. So, opening this back up, I've seen a lot of people complaining about, oh, this thing is so hard to get out, it's stuck in there. It's really not. You just do a little wiggle and wiggle it back and forth for a little bit. Obviously, it's gonna be a little trickier on camera. As soon as I say something, it's gonna want to do the opposite, but it's not that hard to get out, just a skill issue. And of course, you can plug all the other stuff in here. Oops, almost popped that one off again. There's just 5mm ports in here, so anything that's a 5mm port can fit in there, and you can just throw stuff in there, close it up, and call it a day. I've gotten everything to fit within his legs, and then also the chest cavity, and you can do it. It's not that hard. So there is options for storage, so you don't have to lose all the parts or keep it in a separate bag, which is greatly appreciated. Now bringing those back down, boop, we can go up here, and I think that's pretty much it for the robot mode. Now transforming this into his alt mode. This is going to be difficult. I've never transformed anything this big on camera, so here it goes. We are going to start from the top to, actually from the bottom to the top here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plop this foot down, and then we are going to make sure this is untabbed and just swung out for now. Do the same thing on the other side. And then, oops, we got a little bit on the cloth there. Rotate it around 180. And then we can bring this skirting back down. And then collapse the legs together. Bend them at the knees. And then bring this down. And then there's just some pegs that go up onto there. And can be a little bit difficult if you're doing it on camera, but I assure you it's not that hard. There we go. And then just kind of line everything up and then try and get it to click. Again, everything's easier when you're not doing something on camera. Make sure this is all straight as well. That's probably my other issue. There we are. Okay. Again, not very difficult if you're doing it not on camera, but it's going to give me issues. 1 second, I'll have it when I get it back. Alright, there we go. A lot easier when you can do it in your lap. Just make sure that is all the way tabbed in. Just kind of get these out of the way. And then this will just tab right into there. And then we can just do the same thing on the other side. Forgot to untab that one. And then that just clips in there. Super nice. And that is the back half of Star Convoy finished. Now that he is down, he's a lot less tall. And we can work on this section. So come here to the bottom and flip this out. And then bring out the wheel pieces. And then just bring down the head. And then also kind of open these up here. Just kind of get everything to fit, and then close that back up. It will lock into place with these two tabs. Kind of just smushes in there, nice soft click. And then come down to here, flip these little guys out. Actually, before you do that, you want to bring out the arm here, then flip the little guys out so you have the clearance. Then these are just on a peg that is sitting right there. And then, of course, do that on the top side as well. And coming down to the arm here, we're just going to rotate 90 degrees, rotate 180, actually this way, and rotate this 90 degrees. And then we can just kind of fold this down and close it up. and it forms a nice flush piece against the body. And then we just do the same thing on the top. And there we go. Now for the arms, this is actually kind of the fun part, is we can lift up this hood here. Make sure you got a little bit of clearance, and then bring it up, rotate a little bit, and then bring it back, and then rotate the rest of the way, and then push it back down. So you're kind of bringing it back and forth 3 times as you're rotating it around. It's just super satisfying. And once you have it in right, it'll snap in, and then snap in. So just same thing on the other side. Just push up, and then kind of slowly rotate. Forget which way to rotate it, and then push back, rotate, and then push back down. This one doesn't snap in as well, but I can assure you it's in correctly. And then just kind of bring these together. Everything collapses up, and there you go. And we can just bring these panels down. They will tab into the sides of the arms, and we are getting there. So lay this guy down. Some things did untab as I was trying to do this. Just kind of tab everything back in, and then we'll just fold this whole section up, bring this around, bring it down, and then collapse it. Those all tab into place, and there you have him all done. If you're wondering what that little jump was, I was just getting everything a little bit more solidified. And then there you go. Now we have a giant rolling battle station of death. And oh my god, this thing is massive. It is also a beautiful design. I absolutely adore it. I think it's so funny and cool looking. I just love Japanese Transformers. They just look so cool. Because my favorite things are Transformers and Gundam, and why not combine them? Anyway, for weapon storage in this mode, you can't really put everything on there, but you can take this guy, there's a little big peg, and then we can just put that in there, and then throw this one on here too, on the little big peg. I don't know what kind of weird language that is, if it's an idiom or 2 giant opposite things. There's some weird ELA thing. I haven't been in school in a while, but there's something there for it. Anyway, now we have even more cannons, and we can throw more fire effects on it, because why the heck not? And there we go. We got a bunch of blast effects on there. He's getting shot at. He's shooting. And we can just take this off, because why not? There we go. Oh, all done there. Now, for transforming this into his other mode here. One last thing I want to point out, though, is we do have a little bit of storage here, where you can fold these ramps out, and then pretend to roll this up. And I say pretend to because it doesn't fit without opening it up and doing that whole thing. Real pain to do, but you can do it. And you can also bring this down. We'll just transform this guy back real quick here. Bloop. And then just get everything situated. Boom and boom. Real easy, quick guy to transform. And then you can just throw him in here, so you can put him inside a trailer. So you can do that. It's like the Headmaster pattern, but with trailers. It's pretty cool. And then again, you can just put that down, take it back out, and there we go. And if you wanted to, you can just throw him in there. It's a lot of space. It's a cavity you can put things in. And he just happens to fit. And let's just throw these suckers back up, close them up. Bring these feet down, because I don't know how those got back up. And that is pretty much it. I do want to say this kind of reminds me of Armada Prime. Maybe that's why I like it so much with these back treads, because Armada Prime is my favorite. So that might be why I love the Star Convoy design so much, but who really knows? I also love all these little wheels, and also every single wheel here is pinned, even on this guy. Everything is pinned, so it rolls super nicely, which I obviously love. And we have a little painted detail for the headlights. Looks super cool. I definitely think they did not skip out on paint apps or tampographs on this thing, because all that looks amazing. Now, for the last and final thing with this guy, we can transform it into his base mode, which I actually do think is quite alright in my opinion. Basically, we're just going to put him back into his robot mode and open a few things and sit him on the ground, but it's still pretty cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to start by opening these panels up, and then bring this panel up, and then basically we're just going to sit him up like a good boy. And maybe also, before we do that, let's just get these out of the way so we have the clearance to do everything. And then let's just close this back up. But there we go, bring that up just like that. Comes to the back here, little blue thing, fold that down, and there you go. And we'll come back to the bottom here. We can remove the tread area, and we can set that to the side for now. And also, these are packed separately, and one on top of the other. I took one out. I'm like, wasn't there supposed to be two of these? Am I missing something? And then I looked a little deeper and like, oh, there's just one right underneath it. So that was a little bit of a aha moment for me. Anyway, skill issue aside, now that we have him like this, we can start working on him a little bit more. First, what we're going to want to do, now you can do this either way. You can make it a left or right configuration, but we do need to, before we actually start doing that, we're going to want to open up these legs here, which can be a little tricky if you can't see what you're doing. Might want to be able to see. There we are. All right. Kind of just feel where the tabs are, push them in, and then they pop out super easy. Now, one thing I am worried about with this thing. This part is painted, and it's going to be on the ground here, rubbing against stuff as you're rotating it to move it around. So what I recommend doing to avoid any paint chipping on both of these sections here, just fold down the feet a little bit more. Just bring them all the way down to completely eliminate that risk. Might look a little different, might be sitting up a little bit, but at least you're not going to have paint chipping, because that would be bad. I would be very, very cautious about that, especially if you're going to have it in base mode a lot, or you have a little kid and you don't want your figure to be ruined. Make sure this does not get scratched up, because I have a good feeling that's going to happen when this guy ages a bit, and you're going to have a lot of those with those yellow pieces very chipped. So basically we have a giant cavity now, and that's part of the base. Now we can just take these side skirts, and then these just fold up, and then they tab down onto it. And I'll just do the other side as well, without seeing what the heck I'm doing. I got it. We got the feel for it, literally. Now we can just bring this down, and that just kind of sits there. Let's make sure that's straight. Now basically for the top, all we're going to do, I had this rotated the wrong way, is just transform it back into its robot mode. So what we're going to do is just open this up, bring these up, bring this out, bring out the head. There's that little prime thing. I don't know what it really is. Get these going forward. Gonna get the head out of the way, and then just tab those in. Bring these beautifully tampographed pieces up. Make sure they're plugged in. And then we're going to open this up, push this down like so, rotate it around, push it back, rotate it a bit more, and then push it in, clock that up, and then there you are. You have a arm and a hand just sticking out strangely for a base mode. Again, a little bit strange, but that's Star Convoy. He never really had much of a base mode anyway. Now, I am not going to go to the way their instructions tell you to do this. I'm going to do it my way and show you how I like to configure the base mode. First things first, I like to bring these antlers all the way down, bring them out straight, kind of like little radio antennas. And then this arm I don't really bother with. I make it a little like radio or like a tower of some sort. And then I kind of like putting it this way. So maybe there's like some windows up here, and it's like a little city, something like that. Just gotta use your imagination the best you can. And then all we gotta do now is plug back in his gun, and we're done. Oh wait, wasn't there another piece? There was. These can also separate, obviously, because they're two sides of the leg. Just plug them back in together. Nice satisfying clicks. We have little Earthwise ramps that can be flipped down. Flipping over to the other side, we got these little toe pieces, and they just untab like so. And then get this other side here. Doink. Come on. There it goes. And then just plop these treads open, and we reveal the hidden base, which is pretty cool, and I'll show you why. This just goes right here, and then that little blue piece we folded down that's making this thing stable. Yeah, there's a little 5 millimeter hole, and of course they can just plug it together, and there you go. And this is pretty much the basic configuration I like to have mine in. Now let's add a bunch of stuff to it. I also like how this is like an upside down turret. It's kind of cool. Like it's your last line of defense. It can shoot straight down at itself. So this is just defending. You can say, oh, pew 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 pew. You know, it's cool. This is how I like to do it. Again, we can take this little guy here. We can snap that into place. Put it in this 5 millimeter hexagonal peg, just like so. And we can take our little hot rod, bring him up and around, and fold all the bitsies the way they're supposed to be folded. Bring the chest plate down, and yay, you got a little hot rod. And then we can just snap these leg pieces into place, like so, have him wield it. And there you go, now it spins. Wow, so cool. It is very cool. We have a little gimmick. Oh my gosh, we have a gimmick on a modern figure? What? Yeah, it spins, and it turns this turret. Now, the original kind of had this because it would just move forward in both modes and kind of walk. And then in the base mode, it would power the little spinning turret, which was super loud. So it's cool that they added this back, which is awesome. Also, has a 2-to-1 gear ratio. Every one spin, you get 2 rotations at the turret. So it can spin quite fast. And what I love to do, it's hilarious. I'm not going to do it because it's a pain. You can put these little blast effects on it, spin it super fast, and let it fly out like it's shooting it. And then you can see where they land or see if it hits itself. Because Hot Rod has been known to shoot Prime on accident sometimes. Or at least get in the way of things. It's all your fault, by the way. Anyway, this is why he's big and not you, because you're a coward. Okay, bias aside here, we also can just plug anything anywhere. If it's a 5 millimeter, it's a 5 millimeter. You can put him in the chest if you would like. But what I like to... Oh yeah, also, almost forgot about this piece. This can fold out. We can take out the cannon right here. And then this goes on right here. We have, again, a 5 millimeter port and peg on both sides. You got a port, peg, port, and just this goes right on here. Might need to fold down the foot a little bit to kind of get that level. But there you go. There is the base mode, which is quite cool. Lots of playability. This would have been great for me as a kid. I would have adored this thing. If you want to expand it too, you got the ramps here. You can make a giant base, because this is a real good starter. I probably only got like Skylinks and Double Dealer to put on this, but you can make a decent, base for this. But yeah, this is definitely a pretty cool base mode, and I do like it. I just love Star Convoy's design, so I kind of have a little bit of a bias, but I think this is pretty cool. And of course, we can just throw all the effects on it and make it bloosh everywhere. You can put blooshies and effects parts. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to do it because you can put it in your imagination. Put any effects wherever you want. Don't forget about the blue one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And so that is Star Convoy. And I'm going to say straight out right here, buy this. If you're a Transformers fan, buy it. If you're not a Transformers fan, buy it. It is amazing. This is probably my figure of the year. I honestly like this thing more than the HasLab. Probably because I've already owned the original, so the HasLab wasn't all too new, and with its infamous issues, this thing just stands out so much more. This is an absolute must-buy for any Transformers collector. I absolutely adore it. I think it's amazing. All the mechanical detail, like there's just detail everywhere. You could have a field day painting this thing. There's just every joint you move, you'll see new details. There's vents and just everything is just gorgeous. The paint apps and the prints are super crisp. All the tolerances on the joints feel great. One of the most satisfying transformations I've ever had on a figure this size. And honestly, it's probably one of the greatest comebacks for a G1 figure ever. I think this is the second toy this character's ever gotten. And the G1 was quite lackluster other than maybe it being a giant mortar brick with some arms on it. Anyway, do I think this is a figure worth picking up? I've already said yes, you need to buy this. There's nothing else that needs to be said, so that'll be it for my video review, and see you guys later. Peace out. Oh, look it. He's so good he won't fall over, because he's amazing.